Express. Look like the Indiana Fever has hired a new player and development coach.
Everyone believes they are aware of the Indiana Fever's plans for the forthcoming season. However, the truth about this new hire is far more strategic than what you've been told. A new coach with significant NBA firepower is the first step. After missing out on the playoffs the previous year, this move makes it clear they're not playing around.
Look like the Indiana Fever is shaking things up. They has hired a new player and development coach. Now, I know the first thing y'all thinking, what is going on with Keith Porter? Now, if you guys don't know, Keith Porter to his Achilles while at practice, from what I'm hearing. And yeah, man, he's still on the staff. So they're keeping Keith Porter. They're not getting rid of him. And quite frankly, I think this is a smart decision.
Fans are already speculating about what the Indiana Fever's first significant move for the 2017 season means for Caitlin Clark and the entire roster. The timing of their hiring of a player development coach with significant NBA credentials indicates that they are not wasting any time in resolving the obvious problems that beset them the previous season. Despite his severe Achilles injury, Keith Porter is persevering, and now he has an exceptional ally. Do you really think that hiring more player development coaches will solve the Fever's issues, or is this just a cunning ploy to cheer us up? This is a game changer, therefore let's get into the detailed analysis.
That Rob Dozier is joining our staff as a player and development coach. Rob will work alongside fellow player and development coach Keith Porter. So, as you guys can see here, this is
Rob Dozier will be working closely with Keith Porter as a new player development coach, the Indiana Fever officially announced. This is the Fever's first roster or staff change for the 2017 season, and it's a pretty strong indication that they are serious about making big changes in light of how the previous season ended. It was unquestionably a step forward to make the playoffs for the first time in years. However, being ruthlessly eliminated in the first round revealed the enormous gap that still separates this squad from genuine title contention. Rob Dozier is hardly a haphazard hire. He is directly from the Mad Ants, an Indiana G League affiliate, Pacers. This indicates that he already has a thorough understanding of the Pacers sports and entertainment company, which manages both teams. This innate familiarity probably made the switch easier and gave the Fever organization confidence that he knows exactly how their whole operation works. Although switching from the Mad Ants to the Fever is technically a lateral move at the professional league level, it is actually quite intriguing. But the opportunity to collaborate closely with Caitlin Clark and play a key role in the WNBA's most engaging story at the is undoubtedly a far more appealing proposition than keeping up the development of G League players who might never make it to the NBA. To be clear, he had previously worked there as a player development coach. When you start looking into the specifics, Dozier's background is actually quite damn astounding. He was a part of the Washington Wizards franchise for 2 solid years prior to joining the Mad Ants for the 2023-2024 season. During the 2021-2022 season, he was the Wizards' player development manager. Before that, he was an assistant coach for the Capital City Go, which is the Wizards' G League affiliate. He has genuine NBA experience on a variety of levels, so he clearly knows what an exceptional player is, what growth actually entails, and, more crucially, how to help athletes reach their full potential. He is clearly very skilled at what he does because he has been progressively moving up the NBA coaching levels at such a quick speed. Simply put, you don't advance from college graduate assistant to G League coach, then to NBA organization staff, and finally to another G League head coaching position unless industry insiders actively acknowledge your unquestionable talent and track record of success. The Fever didn't just pick up an assistant coach from the street. They found someone who has been painstakingly establishing a reputation for exceptional player development work in the world of professional basketball. That distinction is crucial because Caitlin Clark and the rest of the Fever roster are in dire need of coaching who has a thorough understanding of the highest level of the professional game. It's also quite noteworthy that Keith Porter remained on the faculty despite tearing his Achilles. After the season's poor conclusion, there was a lot of conjecture that the Fever could make significant changes to the coaching staff. Nevertheless, Porter's retention shows how much they appreciate his contributions. Throughout the season, he played a crucial role in helping players grow, and by all accounts, he performed admirably with the current team. Despite the extremely unlucky timing of Achilles' injury during practice, the Fever obviously think he is too valuable to let go, even while he concentrates on his recuperation. Dozier's hiring gives Porter a committed partner with whom to share the heavy workload and, most importantly, guarantees that the player development aspect of the business doesn't suffer at all while Porter is assiduously recovering. This hiring is especially intriguing because it takes place in November, which is very early in the WNBA off-season. Before making big personnel changes, most teams usually wait until after the new year, when they've had enough time to carefully review everything from the previous season. The quick response to this suggests that they considered player development to be a top priority. Priority location that urgently required reinforcement. They are not lingering or dragging their feet. They recognized an obvious need, found a candidate with the ideal background, and took prompt action. Fans want a front office that is truly working to create a championship contender, and that is exactly the kind of proactive, decisive action they want. It's definitely worth looking more closely at what this particular decision signifies for Caitlin Clark. By practically every measure, her debut season was outstanding. However, there were unquestionably times when she faltered, especially in the latter stages of games when exhaustion eventually set in and her productivity sharply declined. Having an extra player development coach who is committed to assisting her in honing her game, efficiently manage her energy and minutes during the demanding season, and create defenses against the aggressive defensive strategies being hurled at her might have a significant impact. Because of his NBA expertise, Dozier has seen personally how the world's top players develop their skills. And now that he has those priceless insights, he can assist Caitlin in taking that vital next step in her growth. However, this isn't just about Caitlin. Development work is desperately needed for the entire Fever roster. Aaliyah, although Boston had a great season, she still needs to work on her offensive game and become much more assertive on that end of the court. Despite being a seasoned scorer, Kelsey Mitchell might still gain from honing some particular elements of her game. Although Nalissa Smith had moments of brilliance, she was ultimately erratic. Beyond merely depending on three-point shooting, Lexi Hall's offensive repertoire needs to be greatly expanded. Each player on the team has areas in which they can and ought to improve, and having two committed player development coaches greatly increases the team's ability to work one-on-one with each member. It's crucial that Dozier focuses only on player development rather than serving as a general assistant coach. This is someone whose whole career focus is on improving athletes via intense skill training, in-depth film analysis, and individualized attention. He is not preoccupied with controlling game strategy or experimenting with rotations. He is actively working on particular talents with particular players in the gym to help them advance in highly targeted areas. Because it means athletes are getting expert-level training on the technical parts of their games rather than just generic coaching, that kind of specialization is invaluable. His history with the Washington Wizards is also very pertinent because, despite their team's difficulties, the Wizards have traditionally been successful at developing individual participants. Through their well-established development program, they have been able to turn draft picks into successful NBA players. That's exactly the kind of experience you want in someone taking on this important position. As an organization, it's not only about winning titles in the short term. It involves taking players with enormous potential and assisting them in realizing that potential through astute, highly concentrated development work. Because the G League effectively serves as a laboratory for player development, the experience is also quite significant. Developing players who can someday contribute at the NBA level is the league's only goal. The G League's coaches include continuously experimenting with skill improvement, putting creative new training methods into practice, and determining exactly what works best to assist players in getting better. The Fever are in serious need of that mentality and depth of experience as they work to turn their roster into a team capable of winning a championship. The fact that this particular move is already attracting notice and igniting debate clearly demonstrates how committed Fever supporters are to the team's eventual success. Nowadays, people are keeping a careful eye on coaching staff additions because they know that winning requires both excellent coaching and a strong development framework. Even if you have the greatest raw talent in the world, you won't make any progress if you don't have coaches who can help it develop and realize its full potential. The Fever are investing in staff development because they have a firm understanding of this essential principle. Fans have overwhelmingly expressed excitement that the Fever are taking aggressive measures to correct prior shortcomings in reaction to this news on social media. Although the previous season was successful in several aspects, it also revealed serious flaws in the team's construction and coaching. Changing things in this way to overcome such constraints shows that the front office is keeping a close eye on things and is prepared to change instead of just going back to the same old strategy and blindly hoping for better, different outcomes. The fact that this is most likely only the first step is also very intriguing. The off-season is a protracted process, and the Fever will surely cause further roster and possibly even coaching staff changes. The forthcoming draft, strategic trades, and free agency all offer substantial chances to improve the team. However, beginning with these kinds of infrastructural upgrades, such as hiring an additional highly skilled player development coach, demonstrates clever setting of priorities. Establish a strong foundation first, then build talent upon it. Instead of just waiting for everything to fall into place, it is the tried-and-true method for creating long-term success. The Mad Ants' direct ties to the Pacers organization are especially noteworthy since they offer the possibility of priceless cross-collaboration and knowledge exchange. The Pacers have a track record of successfully developing players, and having a member of the Fever staff who is well-versed in the Pacers system might make it much easier to share innovative concepts and best practices. Since both businesses are owned by the same business, it makes perfect sense to use that connection to advance both teams. For Caitlin Clark in particular, having instructors with NBA experience allows them to genuinely assist her in comprehending what the next higher level of her game entails. They have had first-hand experience with the world's greatest point guards. They are fully aware of the differences between decent and truly great players, as well as between great players and true superstars. For someone like Caitlin, who is already very good but still has a lot of space to grow, that distinct viewpoint is quite valuable. Having coaches who are able to show her videos of NBA point guards handling particular scenarios or deftly solving challenging issues provides her with a concrete roadmap for her own personal growth. The Fever's clear desire to make large investments in coaching facilities also conveys to Caitlin and the rest of the team that the team is sincerely committed to winning. When teams cut costs or don't supply the resources they need, players can tell. Additionally, they are acutely aware of instances in which teams are clearly making every effort to establish the best possible environment for achievement. The Fever aren't content with just making the playoffs, as evidenced by the addition of another player development coach with strong NBA credentials. They are working hard to develop the necessary skills in order to compete for championships. Solving difficult problems gives her a clear path for personal development. Caitlin and the rest of the team can see that the Fever are genuinely devoted to winning because of their obvious intention to invest heavily in coaching facilities. Players can sense when teams slash expenses or fail to provide the necessary resources. They also have a keen awareness of situations where teams are obviously doing everything in their power to create the optimal setting for success. The acquisition of another player development coach with solid NBA experience shows that the Fever aren't satisfied with simply making the playoffs. They are putting in a lot of effort to acquire the talents required to compete for titles. The process of developing players has grown more complex and specialized. Teams now devote significantly more funds to highly customized training plans, advanced sports science, and specialized skill development because they understand that small gains in individual players directly result in major team success over the course of a long season. By adding highly trained specialists to their development department who can assist them get the most out of their current squad, the Fever are cleverly following that trend. Rob Dozer has been formally added to the Indiana Fever's roster, marking their first big change of the off-season development personnel, and it clearly shows that they are serious about creating infrastructure of championship caliber around Caitlin Clark and the rest of the excellent roster. Investing extensively in coaching and development prior to the official start of the season is exactly how championship teams are constructed. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons because we will be following the Fever's every move as they bravely attempt to transform their enormous potential into real victories.